Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Lloyd and welcome to No Budget Reviews, the series where we go around the country finding cars that you can buy in good condition with an MOT for under £1,000 and filming them with absolutely no money at all. So we have to use my phone, no microphones, no fancy DSLRs, nothing like that. Just good honest cars that you can buy for very little money and you can enjoy driving. If there's one type of car that features more heavily on No Budget Reviews than any other, it's, well, Rovers. And this is the second Rover 45 that we've had on No Budget Reviews. And also the third that we've had overall on the channel. Obviously the first is the one that we've got. It's a 2003 45 2-litre V6 Connoisseur. And then we've had Jude's very early 45, which is a 2000 45 1.4 IE. It's a base model, and this is a 2005 45 1.6 GLI, and yes, the badges on the boot are the wrong way around, and that's just the way that it is. This is owned by Elliot, whose City Rover you would have seen on my channel last year, and it's actually reasonably similar to a car that I used to, and I had a 1.4 Club SE from 2004, which would have been about 2009 to 2012. In about March 2004, Rover decided to facelift the 25, 45 and 75, and also the ZR, ZS and ZT. And this is what they came up with. Now, as far as I understand it, the 75s were available first. The 45s like this weren't available till May. I have seen a facelifted 75 with a March registration date, but this is actually an even later one because it's a GSI, but it hasn't got any front fog lamps. So we believe, and this is not confirmed, but this car was made under the administrators after MG Rover went bankrupt in April 2005. The GLI and GSI were marketed under the World of Leather promotion, and they only came out in February 2005, so this is a very, very rare specification indeed. Special edition car. The first thing to notice is the headlamps, which are completely different from the pre-facelift ones, and so is the lower grille. The grille badge itself is also completely different. The logo is totally different. It's more like one off the Streetwise, and the Streetwise obviously wasn't facelifted because it only came out in 2003, and you know, it didn't last very long. Chrome mirrors, of course, a bit like the one that I've got. Next difference is on the side of the car, the rubbing strip is actually painted, and it's just 45 down there. These wheels, I think they're called the turbine wheels. They were used on quite a lot of late 45s, such as the one that I had. There were bigger ones available as well. One thing that we'll see is the dreaded Pectron keyfob, and these things are a nightmare. If you wanted to get your keyfob reprogrammed to the security control unit, which does fail on the post-mid 2003 45s and other MG Rover cars of the era, then yeah, you need the barcode that the keyholes would have come in to program it. Otherwise, if you want to sort out your central locking or something that goes wrong, and stuff like the power shot driver's window, the alarm and the intermittent wipe are all controlled by the security control in your body control unit, and if that fails, then you have a nightmare. You don't have the code for your Pectron remote as well, then yeah, you get in a bit of trouble. White dials, of course, these actually came out in mid-2003, like the change from the R65 to IB5 Ford Gearbox. This has actually got the original stereo in it as well, which is quite remarkable, along with this sort of wood trim. The wood trim's in a different sort of place from before. Let me just, there we go, just get rid of some of the light slightly because it's quite bright today. So we've got the wood trim and, a very different dashboard, Audi TT style dashboard. Now the one on the car that I had actually cracked, so it wasn't great. That car was 5 years old when it started cracking. This one has held up though much better. I think the car's probably been garaged or something. Same wooden steering wheel with a different badge of the car that I've got, and we've actually got controls to the stereo, but no cruise control clearly. But weirdly, the fog lights have been moved to here, whereas on the pre-facelift cars they're sort of here, and we've just got blanking plates instead. Different stalks. They look similar, but they are different. They've got a bit different feel to them. The mirror control's got a different graphic on it, and this centre console different. Now, if I just make sure I disarm the Petron remote, which I have, so we can just put that in and turn the ignition on. It shouldn't just beep at me. Excellent. Right, it hasn't beeped. Good. And we've got a coolant level sensor, which only came in the facelifted cars. That's gone off of that. But we've got the climate control system in this car, because this is the top of the range. Briefly, from the Pagani Zonda. Yes, that's right, viewers. The same climate control unit as in the Pagani Zonda. Wonderful. So we open up the glove box, which, as we know, is suitable for secret mission documents. Clocks did to break on these as well, and there's no exceptions, no bother getting that fixed. The door cards on this car are very, very good. They're better than mine are, far better. And the driving position in one of these is very comfortable. I might have to adjust it slightly. The seats are very similar to the car that I've got. Right, let's climb in the back. That's what I always have to do in these reviews. Oh, that's lovely. Elliot's left me a 2005 Rover 45 brochure. These are really rare, but it only shows, for some bizarre reason, the GLI and GSI models. See here, there are no others. Yeah, there's no others at all, which is really, really strange. And a 1.8 litre engine is not even mentioned in this. I think this is just to do with the particular models with the Wild Leather promotion. You can see leather's all you get, but with a GLI you didn't actually even get alloy wheels. Those are the ones that you got. I don't know if we're supposed to have the front wash wipe on these. No, you don't get them unless you have a saloon. Little headlamp washers. Let's get in here. This is Elliot's driving position rather than mine. Actually, there's a tiny little bit more room in here than there is in a saloon, and there's a bit to put your knees. It's not the most commodious car. We don't have a sunroof though, so the headroom's a little bit better. And of course, you've got the folding armrest in the middle and the split folding seats. It's not as dark as I thought it would be in here. It's a black interior, but it's not too dark. That's nice. Right, let's go and have a look at one of the other changes over the earlier cars. Have a look at the boot. Right, here we go, Petron remote. Why is the Petron remote not working for the boot? I think we're going to have to go and pull the lever. Right, use the lever instead. I don't know why that's not working, who knows. Yeah, classic Rover 45. Trim is getting a bit loose, same on mine. And we've got these really old-fashioned sort of 90s looking sort of speakers, which, for the car that's in the mid-2000s does look a bit out of place. And it's almost as if the parcel shelf is kind of actually slightly lightened over the earlier ones. You could get in these a space saver or a full-size spare. Just loosen this out of the way. See what we got in here. Oh yes. It's a full-size spare, but it's only a steel one. I actually had in mine, 1.4 Club SE, I had a full-size alloy spare, which is wonderful. About 350 litres of boot space in here. There's a boot light somewhere, but it's not coming on at the moment. Excellent. And here we have the famous K-Series engine. In this case, it's a 1.6, which develops about 110 horsepower. This is the newer type of coolant reservoir with the level sensor in it. That's pretty useful on one of these. and a different sort of engine bay. There's no ECU which is near the battery or anything on these facelifted cars. Or rather, I should say the cars after 2003, because those actually have a different electrical system from the earlier ones, but they were still pre-facelift. Cam cover gasket weeps are quite common on a case series. I don't know how many times I've talked about the case series engine on this channel. Too many times. This one's just had a new head gasket. It's been done by an MG Rover specialist, which is in this area, and you know, it's probably a specialist job, but these days to do it. After MG Rover took over from the Rover Group in 2000, they didn't bother putting Rover on top of the engines anymore, because they wanted to, you know, MGs and Rovers, of course. But if you keep on top of the maintenance, Rover recommended 15,000 mile service intervals on these. I don't recommend that. I'd say it's more like 7.5, something like that, to do the oil on them. Cam belt service is about 6 years. Don't skip that sort of thing. And if you are going to put a new head gasket on one of these, which isn't the most difficult job in the world, but you know, it's best if somebody knows what they're doing. The Victor Ryan set or something similar will be best. Don't put a multi-layer steel head gasket on it, because it'll just happen again. But yes, plenty of power. You can actually improve the performance of one of these by fitting the head gasket set properly. This is what Mr. Coleman, rubbish mechanic who looks after my 45, has done on many frequent occasions. Right, I think it's time to go for a drive. So here we are on the little roads of the Hampshire-Sussex border, and I feel very much at home in this car, because it feels just like the one that I used to have. It's just a little bit more power, same Ford gearbox, same basic engine, and it of course is sitting in the back because, well, you know why. I don't need to go into all that. The engine's available in a post-facelift 45, where the 1.4 K series with 103 horsepower, this 1.6 K series with 110 horsepower, the 1.8 K series with 118 horsepower, and then very, very rarely there were also some 2 litre V6 models. They're extremely rare post-facelift, but they did exist. That's a 2 litre KV6 engine with 150 horsepower, only available as an automatic. Now in this country the V6s were only saloons, but in some other parts of Europe, such as the Netherlands, hatchbacks were available, because I've actually seen photographs of them. There were also some diesels, but as you know, we don't talk about those on this channel. The trim levels in the post-facelift 45 were much less complicated than the pre-facelift ones, much less complicated. Bottom of the range was the Classic, and then the Classic SE. Then there was the Club and the Club SE. That was top of the range for the hatchbacks. Actually, there was no Connoisseur available in the hatchbacks. Connoisseur was available just in the saloons, and then in February 2005 the special edition ones were released. This is one of the special editions, the GSi, but it was also a GLI, which is a bit below this and only available with a 1.4 engine. As we've discussed already, the GLI, that didn't get alloy wheels at all, but it did get a full leather interior. In terms of a driving experience of one of these, the K series has always been very lively, and it's no exception of this. I'm not going to go too fast because you know, we get too much camera shake, and you know, it's no budget reviews, and so there's nothing we can do about that. The steering is absolutely pin sharp accurate. steering is very nice in these. It does feel, in comparison with a car with electric power steering, which is what most cars have these days, a little bit heavy, but I didn't really notice because, you know, I drive a 45 all the time, and, you know, I had one before, and so I just noticed the way the steering weight is really good. I don't tend to notice so much that, you know, let's see, it's heavy at parking speeds. I mean, if you've driven a Maestro with no power steering, and you know what heavy steering at parking speeds is, this is fine. They do handle well, these cars, and of course if you get the MG ZS version of this, it may handle even better. One thing I've noticed with this in comparison with the 45 that we have is the ride is a little bit firmer. I think that's because with the facelifted cars, they imported the settings from the pre-facelift ZS's for the suspension, so they're a little bit firmer on the ride. But it doesn't mean the handling is very, very good. Gearbox, it's Ford IB5 unit that was fitted to 45s and 25s and ZRs and ZS's after mid-2003, was brought in by Ford because BMW still owned the MG Rover Gearbox factory at the time, put the prices up of the R65 unit, was also going into the R50 Mini, and MG Rover decided that they didn't really want to actually pay the exorbitant amount of money that they were asked, what essentially were their own gearboxes that they developed. So they asked the Ford Motor Company, who were already, you know, helping them out with things like the engines for the Rover 45 V8 and the MG ZT260 and the MG X Power SD, and they asked them for the IB5s, which are out of the Fiesta and Focus at this time. And they tend to be quite good gearboxes. The only thing that happens with them is they get a bit wobbly as you know, they age, and this is no exception. The bushings are a bit wobbly. It's perfectly fine. I mean, you know, you don't need necessarily to replace them, but it's obviously makes it a little bit easier if you do. Performance of this car, 0 to 60 around 10 seconds. Fuel economy probably about 35 to 40 miles per gallon. I am very much enjoying this though. It also adds a whole dimension driving one of these that you just don't get if you have an automatic. There was an automatic available on the 1.8 engine, which was called a step speed, and that's a CVT unit. The 45 V6 is a different automatic 5-speed Jatco unit. PG1 gearbox was also used on any engine that's not under 1.6 litres, so 1.8s and the forbidden fuel cars had the PG1 gearbox, as did the MG ZS 180. That was an old unit co-developed with Honda. Both the IB5 and the PG1 are 5-speed automatic, 5-speed manual gearboxes. Yes, I'm finding this drive most agreeable, viewers. Most agreeable. So viewers, the post-facelift Rover 45, specifically this GSi model, should you buy one of these? Well, you do have to be aware of several things. First thing, petrol remote, make sure you've got 2 of those and they both work. And if you have any signs of, you know, the electric window one touch feature not working, or something like the intermittent wipe not working, the alarm, just walk straight away, just go. The Ford IB5 gearbox is pretty good on these. I do like it, although the bushes do start to wear after some time. Just be aware of that. Head gasket, if that's been done properly by somebody who's competent, then that should be absolutely fine. But yes, it's general kind of bits of trims and rattles. Obviously, this has been a car that was right at the end of Project Drive, so you can't expect everything. But I still quite like them. I prefer the earlier cars personally, just in terms of the way that they're slightly better built. I do like the look of them, although it's a controversial thing in the MG Rover community. But yes, thanks again to Elliot for providing this car for review. and thank you, obviously, very much indeed for watching once again. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more no-budget reviews and other types of exciting content. Don't forget to like this video and click the notification bell to be informed of new uploads. Leave a comment down below, and also visit my social media links, which are in the video description below.